Once again, welcome you all to this session of an interview that today we will actually have with Wing Commander Raman Sopory ji, who is one of the key respondents with us. Also, the president of Aerospace Defense Consultants Association of India. He is from a background of his expertise in the Air Force, now retired, but actively involved in new upcoming technologies, working with various different bodies and also the Ministry of Defense. We had the privilege to also invite him to be a part of our 3D Graphy advisory board, also consciously working in a clear set pattern to ensure that how they can strategically help startup companies who are looking into 3D technology services and business. So they might be an entrepreneur, they might be a docpreneur, doctors who are looking at setting up their centers. Since 3D Graphy has been a consortium, we've been in the space for almost last 8 years, building a consortium of 3D technology companies and service providers, and also researchers and scientists, and also companies offering solutions in 3D printers and scanning solutions and materials, simulation and software. Because everything is going to constitute the larger interest in terms of how this technology can benefit the end user. So that's been our conscious effort. We've been in the business of events and conferences for many years, and we've actually just completed our last 43rd event. So 3D Graphy also was a consortium being in that space. 3D Graphy News is something, ladies and gentlemen, our conscious effort was also to see that how there can be an ongoing interactive platform in terms of sharing information on these subjects with case studies and innovation and interviews of expert and also expert opinion, and also spotlight in terms of various aspects, probably which would have missed out globally. So that's something, and news and trends is also one of our initiative. So this is also an AI-enabled platform that we've just launched 2 months back, and we've been able to activate a pilot project, and we've seen that it is very responsive, because since it's an AI-based news platform, it's actually able to connect, and there's a search engine optimization, which is actually an automated kind of a model for every companies and organization sharing insights. It actually gets the advantage, and also the end user gets the benefit. So that we've already built a panel of almost 56,822 respondents in the last 4 months, and that's a good number. But we also have a database which has also been churned, and we are also sending it to them on an ongoing basis. Our target is by the next 3 months we should be able to touch, say, close to 4 lakhs and more. So because for us the conscious effort is also that 3D technology has been at the epitome, and we are seeing that there's a lot of scope in the technology, and it needs to be rightly communicated to the end user, and also to have policymakers and decision makers and also companies to come in the fray to benefit from this technology. So today I have the privilege and the opportunity to introduce you all to Ramanji, and for a short interview to also understand, for the audience to know how it could benefit the respondents who are a part of our consortium also starting up their own businesses, because since we believe that an investor support is also important to see that how a pathway can be set. So very good afternoon, sir, for your time and your presence.
Good afternoon, Dr. SHIBU.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So may I ask you a short background in terms of how you started this initiative to begin with as a company, as an association, and thereafter I would also like to understand from you in terms of the prospects that it has for startups in terms of investment opportunities.
Thank you, Dr. SHIBU, and thanks to all the audience. You see, I am an engineer by accident. BTech in electrical, then masters in laser electro-optics, and of course masters in business management. I was in the uniform for 25 years, and we had been lucky to get the new technologies from the best in class from many other countries itself. But I had to take a conscious call of leaving uniform and due to personal reasons. Having said that, I have understood that if today you are honest and you have some idea, money is not a constraint to realize your dreams. If you have a good, mark sheet at your place, you get admissions in the best of universities in USA. I have been into the academia also. Some of my students who came from very humble background are today become CEOs of the companies in USA and Europe. I have been both in full-time role as well as in offline roles doing consulting. But what I realized that end of the day, and more so during the last 2 years of COVID times, the money was a big hindrance to people realizing their dreams. I have seen best of the companies raised by IIT honchos facing the NCLT because they could not sustain. So for any particular company today, be it a manufacturing outfit or a services company, the leisure of running a family company is no longer there because your next door neighbor becomes your competition. At the same time, with digitization and scale of operations, the world is your stage, world is your market itself. So, and India has been a new unicorn capital after Israel, as you know. In the last 1 year, in last 2 years, we had the maximum, something like 53 unicorns in India. Unicorn means a company which gets a valuation about $1 billion. We realize that the medical technology and the aerospace defense also has got some unicorns in the making. Me and Dr. Shibu John would like to make sure that India gets at least 5 to 10 such unicorns into the medical technology as well as in the manufacturing technology itself. My experience has been that if you can raise a capital from a bank, good luck to you, because you'll be hypothecating your family property or whatever. But that is not the way things work today. You have to have some set of funds for the R&D. You have to have some set of funds for the initial prototype development. Then you have to have funds for sales, marketing, and of course, getting the first big order. Now, having said that, money is always limited, so you have got hand-to-mouth experience. We've been lucky that we've been able to bridge that gap. It became like an accident that when we realized the company which I was working for 10 years suddenly had a cash crunch. They could not pay the salaries for 4 to 6 months. Then through my international contacts, I was able to arrange 100 crore worth of funding. And now the issue is, what is the best way to realize such funds? So what I'm saying is, you have to have at least one champion in the team who can create what is called the best-in-class project reports. We at our place, we are selecting companies based on the background checks, based on their ethics, based on the management. And there are many factors on which we decide how to select. We select companies not for purchasing land or buildings. It is only to do the funding for specific projects which are viable. What do we look for in that? Number one, what is the impact of that project in terms of size and scale? What is the kind of management, architecture? Is it going to be a husband-wife company, or are they going to be scaling it out faster? And ease of doing business is very important. And I have been to many places all over India, right from Chhattisgarh, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Noida, and many other places also. Any new idea which you have today, please appreciate somebody else far away or next door neighbor might also have the same idea. You're not the only one getting that idea. Please understand this. So idea generation, and with Google available, you can always generate some ideas. But if you have some original idea, the time or the luxury of sitting on the idea is no longer there. Because if you don't initially convert your idea into practical situation, your idea is just become old and somebody else will make a better idea. So you will lose that kind of time. So speed, scale is very important, and of course the digitization gives you that liberty. You can add some tools which Dr. Shibu John told of AI, data analytics itself. So we got team of experts from banking, from finance, from legal, and of course the technology also. We would like to offer these services through Dr. Shibu John to all the people in this organization. And 3D printing is one such technology which offers you the speed and scale. It gives the maximum impact. Today, the armed forces also are funding 3D related projects. So you could realize that a company like Wipro, where I was working, is today heavily into 3D printing itself at their office in location in Bangalore, and they are doing world in class. Medical technology also offers, and we are open to know from you. And in fact, what we do is that we go through the due diligence. We are flooded with a lot of private equity players. We are fronted with a lot of angel investors also. It all depends on what kind of project it is there, what kind of management is there, what is the size on which it is there. So there has to be a commitment from both the sides. If that is so, then we are there to do the needful. It could be funding against a project, or in case you are participating in a government tender, you want some bank guarantees or performance bank guarantees. That's also possible. It depends on the size of the ticket size, but we generally avoid less than 1 CR, because the effort of going through the deliberation of 1 CR or a 100 CR is almost the same. Only thing is that risk is different, appetite is different, and of course we would like to know from Dr. Shibu John. Today we would like to offer a special package, at least to first such company. We don't have the liberty of people sitting on the idea. Let's say today is 30th April. Before 15th of May, we would like to raise something like 100 CR for 3D printing. So obviously it depends on the project. So it could be 5 such ideas of 20 CR each, which is easy, or it could be 1 idea, 2 ideas of 50 CR each. It all depends what is the kind of business idea we've got. It could be medical implants, it could be anything else in any other field whatsoever. Aerospace defense itself is offering so many such components. There are 150 such items which Indian Air Force, and you can be doing partly the aerospace defense components and partly for the medical. Why not? The Israelis are funding it. The Australian High Commission has been talking to us on some specific areas of cooperation. There are many funds available. All depends on the kind of business idea we got. So with this introduction, thank you, Dr. Shibu John. I would assure you that funds would not be a constraint to realize the dreams. So you can, only those who can dream can realize the dream. So first you have to dream during the daytime, not nighttime.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And one more thing, Doctor Commodore sir. Now the concept of 3D technology is gaining a lot of traction, and as you rightly said, aerospace or maybe for medical, even dental or medical or orthotics or prosthetics. There's a lot of scope when it comes to creating new IPs. So creating the intellectual property is also gaining a lot of traction with government's initiative with Atmanirbhar Bharat, where Make in India is also gaining that kind of the support is always there. So I think the pathway is there. So what we have decided is to formulate these 3D Graphy labs and 3D Graphy hubs. Both has its own individual areas of specialization, one being for dental and medical and the other being for engineering when it comes to industrial manufacturing, and how these setups can actually start with additive. So the ticket size starts from 8 crores to even above. At times there are also ticket size which should be lesser. So the evaluation, now that we know that since you're also an active respondent and also an advisor, becomes a smooth sail for us to identify these startups who will also be signing up with us for going forward in terms of having these franchisees. So 3D Graphy Lab as a concept, as a franchisee is very unique. So Is there a special waiver that we see for them to get that benefit in terms of the process faster, or it is going to be as structured as it is?
No, it all depends on specific case. So I cannot give any commitment as of today. Let the list of ideas be shared with us, and then we will tell you in what format the project report has to be submitted. There is a set pattern, and who is the team leader from there, what are the credentials. So we may not be able to fund every idea which you submit to us, but we have a team of experts. We will like to see that, yes, of course, with Dr. Shibu John's reference, 50% battle is over. You must have done some due diligence itself. But it all depends on how the project report is submitted. My experience of last 2.5 to 3 years is that we as Indians are very careless in making reports. We just do the copy pasting, like we are submitting the home assignments in the engineering colleges. That won't work. So if we realize that somebody is just copying somebody's report and adding some points, no, it won't work. We do our independent assessment itself. So be as truthful as possible. In one of the cases, we realized that the balance sheet was not written properly. So we realized that it was, fudged balance sheet, although it was a family controlled unit, but we were able to get our hands. So we rejected that company. So even though you may have run into some problem because of COVID, but be as truthful as possible. And it's a common sense area. If you've got a GST number, if you've been filing GST return, please tell us. If you have had a penalty from the GST department, please say so. It could be due to COVID. People have faced a lot of difficulties. So it is not possible to hide the facts because everything is so digital now. So in case you have hypothecated or taken loan against some bank and you were able to face some difficulties, please tell us. We will find you the solution for that. But if you try to hide the number, then it is becoming difficult for us to do that. So we do that. In certain specific cases, we may have to visit the premises to see the facility or the capacity and capability also. But the more truthful you are, more frank and open you are, it's more easy and faster for us to do the funding. But you have to be as authentic as possible. This is what I'm trying to say. So there is no silver bullet to things. We have seen some companies are very fast. They're able to prepare the project report in just 15 days time. But there are some companies where we have done the funding up to 100 CR. Finally, when we say give us the balance sheet of last 3 to 5 years, they are not able to submit it properly. So it all depends how fast you are able to do. So if your speed is X, our speed would be 2X. Let's be sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and also making it very clear in terms of what will be the process. And thank you, and welcome you to be a part of this particular process for us to identify smart startups who can be benefited from this particular processes also. So this also being a part of our consortium, our conscious effort is also to build an investor panel supporting the respondents to benefit from this. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right.